Hi, today I have a message called Unified in the Same. So, starting with Spirit can bring you and all experience that addresses any questions that arise. So, what the light seemed to be shining on here was not when ego gives me a question, it's not urgent that I get the question answered, because all that's going to happen is ego's going to chomp on that food and analyze and interpret and then come to a conclusion, and I can kind of look at all of that activity and see the meaningless of it all. But if a question arises in me and there's that feeling, that's a feeling of needing guidance. And what Spirit can do is bring into my experience, and of course I'm just learning this. That's why the message is coming through to me, so I can see this and allow it. So Spirit can come through and bring experience that gives me the answer, and maybe not necessarily in a verbal way or in a thought way that I could chew and chomp on and analyze and spit out and tell somebody else, but just through experience. So I have this to help me remember who I am, to help me remember who everyone is. And as I'm open to Spirit bringing me experience, I don't have an urgent need to figure things out, to gather information, to arrange and figure out information. I'm just carried along by the experience that gets delivered to me. Okay, the feeling of guilt is the opportunity to pause action, to look at thought. And of course, I get told this again and again, but really the feeling of guilt, I'm getting an opportunity to go into it very deeply and to not gloss over it when I'm aware of it, to really stop. And as much as we learn how to stop when we have a feeling that doesn't feel good, there are areas of my life where it doesn't even occur to me to stop and to question something. Not yet, because something else is more prominent on the surface. But then let's say we address that, and now this thing we've been glossing over and just accepting as normal, now that feeling of guilt or disorder or however it manifests, it's really prominent. Inadequacy, whatever it is, it's really prominent. And if we keep going in our old accustomed patterns, that means safety and stability to us. Whether it seems to be a chaotic pattern or an orderly pattern, it's just we pattern. If we keep doing that for a sense of our same separate self, for a sense of our safety and stability, then we keep having the feeling, and we keep finding the need to distract away from it or kind of shout over it to drown it out. But just facing the feeling, finding the thoughts, pausing, actually looking at the thoughts, that which makes up our experience, our repetitive experience, actually setting those thoughts down. That's really being emphasized. Okay, when you look upon anyone or anything, you have the opportunity to place their/its future not in your hands, not in their hands, not in the hands of another. So, we might think we affect someone's life and we put their future in our hands. We might be blaming them for something and thinking they should change. And so we're putting their future in their hands. We might be seeing them as a victim to somebody, so we're putting their future in the hands of another separate one. But we can place their future in the hands of what is unified in the same. And as we do that for them, we can do that to everyone who comes to mind, everyone we see, everyone. We can do the same thing for everyone. What we're doing for others, we're doing for ourselves. So we place what we perceive of as the future in the hands of what's unified and the same. There's stability there. There's a trust here. There's a trust to remember. There's a willingness to do that we can allow to expand. And it's here. It's right here. It's right now. When we're not distracted by anything else, that willingness is here. So the ego screams about how you need this thing or that thing, but they're all the same thing. And yeah, ego does scream. It's very distracting. And why do we go to distractions to get a distraction even louder than the distraction of ego in our minds, to drown it out and seem to give us some peace and enjoyment? But it's okay and it's safe to go in and to observe the ego screaming about needs and to look directly at what it's screaming about, what it thinks I need, and to just face it. And then, of course, once I faced it, I can set it down. I can reorient. Today I'm reorienting toward I am not a body. I am free. I am still as God created me. It can be but myself I crucify. So I can only pretend to hurt myself. There is no other. But I don't have to keep doing that. So the ego is saying we need this thing or that thing, but they're all the same thing. And the ego is just screaming for distraction. And what does the ego tell me I want to be distracted from? What's the purpose of that distraction? To distract away from what's actually here. Love is actually here. It's behind all ego's need for distraction, all ego's need for pleasure. Love is just here behind that. And I'm learning to just stop and be still and look and rest and see what's actually here. And we don't have to analyze it, define it, try to figure out how to use it, even understand it. Just seeing the presence of it, remembering it, knowing it's here, activates our seeming ability to trust in and rely on it. In my experience, we just have to remember to stop and look past all that screaming toward what is here, toward what the whole matrix of the ego's illusions covers up. Just look toward it and acknowledge it. Hey, there it is. And then the more we realize it, that it's here, it's always been here, it's never gone away, we just covered it up. The more we tune into and allow the power of it, the more we allow it to be in charge, the more we allow it to take over the illusion we made. I think we could just sort of wink out of this illusion at any time. We don't have to keep torturing ourselves with it. But I think what has been given to us as a solution is walking through and out of it, gently, gradually. So while we could immediately just peace out and end all suffering, we tend not to. And so we're given this gradual solution of we're going to be walked through and out of what we have used to seemingly imprison ourselves. What we are can't be imprisoned, so that's a lie, and it's good to recognize that. But we give ourselves an identity, and that identity seems to be something that can be imprisoned, and we ourselves are the imprisoners with our thoughts that make our imprisoning experiences. So there we go. All we have to do is look through all the distraction to what is actually here, and then we naturally start to rely on it and see it. Okay, when you're looking at a thought, you're looking at a sentence, you don't have to impose a life sentence upon you or anyone you call else. So when I'm believing a thought, it is kind of like a sentence I'm imposing, whatever that thought's about, on that thing, on that person, on that event. And I don't have to impose sentences on anyone. I don't have to impose a life sentence on anything or anyone, no matter how much the evidence of the illusion seems to back up that conclusion, that life sentence. I don't have to do that. What I can do is look through all the distraction, all the movement to what's actually here, toward life itself, and see that we are that, and we are free, that life itself is free. That's freedom. And it's always here. And anything I've slapped on top of it as a distraction is just a distraction. And a distraction can never be real. So here we are in life, as life, free as beings. And we can observe the thought activity of imposing life sentences, limiting life sentences on things, people, events, things we name in our illusion. And we can slow down, observe it, drop out of the activity of that, look inward, rest, and be guided by what's here for all of us. The freedom we share, it can guide all of us. Okay, thank you.